Check the facts skill. This is the first step in being able to change our emotions and manage our emotions. So quite often we can, jump to conclusions, we can make assumptions, we can write our own script, and actually what we don't do is we don't stop and check the facts of the situation before we do that. So emotions come in and they don't fit the facts. So what we're going to try and do is look at how to put a bit of a pause on that, how to stop doing that so that we can get a full picture of what's going on before we dive in with that emotional response. So emotions are not facts, but quite often we treat our emotions as if they are facts about the world around us, as if, I felt that emotion and that is the truth, when we need to check that out. So for example, you might have the feeling, I love him, therefore he must be okay. Well, you might have an emotional connection, but it doesn't mean that that person, is okay. You need to check out the facts. Or if I'm scared, then there must be danger. Again, we need to check that out. If I get lonely when I'm alone, I should never ever be left alone. So we assume that our emotions are based on facts about the world, and we might use them to justify our thoughts or our actions, and that can lead to quite tricky situations. For example, if you had a needle phobia and you treated the fear as if it was a fact, that all needles are bad and they're scary and they're terrifying, then you might want to get rid of all the needles in the world. But that's not a fact, that's an opinion, that's a judgment, that's your own perception. So we have to tease apart what is a fact, opinion, what is a judgment, and sometimes we need to identify when we need to gather more information. So it's a fact that there are 7 days in the week. It's a fact, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. But it's a judgment, a perception of whatever, that Friday is the best day. When that might not be the case for everybody, it depends what you do on a Friday. So there is facts and there are opinions, and we need to learn how to clock them and how to catch them. So we can see things from different perspectives as well. And we can often misinterpret things. Why check the facts? Well, sometimes you react to thoughts about an event as if you know all the facts, when in fact you don't, But when we do this can lead to painful emotions. So checking the facts can change your thoughts and emotions to fit an event, and then it can also change what you do as well. So it can change your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviours. So we can all think about a time when we've completely overreacted. Something in that moment, we've completely misunderstood the situation, we've not got all the facts, and we've just reacted in a certain way, and it wasn't, it wasn't warranted, did not fit the facts. So there might be things you might think of where, looking back at the time, you thought it was a really, really big deal, but then later it wasn't. So you might have responded as if it was, the end of the world, when it really wasn't. So if you check the facts in the moment, you can reduce the intensity of your emotional reaction as well. So for example, you might be stood at the bus stop, the bus doesn't turn up, it's too far to walk, and you don't have any money to get a taxi, and then you see your friend drive past and he doesn't stop, and you think that he's seen you and he's carried on driving, and as he's seen you, you felt like he's gone faster. So how does that make you feel in that moment? If you perceive your friend to have seen you, to be driving faster after seeing you, how would that make you feel? You'd feel quite angry. You're already probably quite cross because you've missed your bus and you've got all these emotions going on anyway, and then this happens on top of that. But what are the facts in that situation? Peel it back. We're assuming that person's seen you. The facts of the situation are you're waiting at a bus stop and someone drove past. That's the fact. What you might not know is that your friend has actually got his younger brother in the car who you can't see, and he's hurt and he's going to the doctors or to the hospital or wherever, and he's driving fast because he's trying to get there quickly. But if you behaved as if you knew the facts of the situation initially, what might you do? You might send him a text message, you might be quite short with him, you might, next time he messages you to ask you for a favour or to do something with him, you might say no, you might be quite curt with him, because you're responding as if the initial situation was fact when it wasn't. Whereas if you check it out and say, oh, I saw you drive past today, blah blah blah, how are you doing? He might say, oh God, I'm having an absolute nightmare of a day, my little brother's done this and this and this and this, and I'm rah rah. And then you can then respond in a very, very different way. You might respond with a very caring message, oh, let me know if you need anything, oh, sounds awful, I hope you're okay. So you would respond in a very different way if you had more facts about a situation. So that facts change your behaviours as well, not only your emotional responses. To check the facts, ask yourself, what is the emotion? What am I feeling in my body? Do a bit of a body scan. What am I noticing? What is my body trying to communicate? How strong is that emotion? How strong am I feeling this? And what am I basing this on? So what are you thinking? What knowledge or what kind of perception or judgments, whatever, am I basing this on? What do I know? What is the fact? And what information do I need to find out? What bits of information I'm missing? What questions do I need to ask before responding to the situation as I know it? So, for example, you go to your manager and you ask for some more hours because you just need some more money. They say that they don't have any work for you. You might respond in a very angry way, and you feel it in your body. Your fists are getting tense, your heart rate's going, you're feeling all sweaty. You're just absolutely raging because you feel as if it's a bit personal to you. They don't like you. They haven't got any hours for you. He's targeting me on purpose. So you might be very, very angry with what they've said, and you might respond as if you're never, ever going to get any money ever again. Now you have to ask yourself, is that appropriate? Does my emotional response and my feelings and my thoughts fit the facts? No. Yes, it's annoying, and it might make you feel frustrated, but it doesn't want you to act in an angry way so that you shout and scream and attack your manager, because you're probably going to get the sack because nobody needs to take that. So then you will kind of perpetuate that, oh, I'm never going to have any money, because you probably just got the sack. But does your anger fit the facts? You've got to check it out. Is anybody else getting any hours right now? Are there any hours available for him to give me? Can you ask more questions? Can you get a bit more information? Can you find out if there will come a time when there will be more hours in the future? So does the feeling of anger fit the facts? Does it warrant that response in that situation? No, probably not. So you've got to check it out, because sometimes, like I said, our emotional response, it can be instant, it can be really responsive, but it doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean it's a fact. It doesn't mean it fits the situation. So this is another example. So my care coordinator can't see me till next week. You might feel an initial response of fear or anger. And if that's fueled by thoughts like, she doesn't like seeing me, I'm not good enough, those are thoughts that you can really, really check the facts. She doesn't like seeing me. Well, how do you know that? What information have you got that tells you that? Is that a fact? Is that an opinion? Is that a judgment? Is that a perception? Unless that person has said, I do not like seeing you, you don't know that. So you could check that out. I'm not good enough. Again, what are the facts to support that thought? Whereas if you thought things like from a more wise mind position, maybe it's not all about you. Maybe she's not very well. Maybe she's on holiday. Thinking thoughts like that can make you feel very, very different and make you respond in a very, very different way as well. And those are things that you can quite easily check out. Next time you see that person, you can just ask, "Oh, were you away last week?" Or you can just very gently check those things out. So gathering more information. So checking the facts is about exploring what facts fit a situation. And quite often we come a cropper when the emotions are telling us one thing and the facts of a situation are telling us something very different. So emotions don't always fit the facts. And quite often we interpret our emotions to be very, very factual, and they're not. Emotions can be made up of thoughts and feelings and behaviours, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are facts and that they are true. So we've got to think like a bit of an investigator and find evidence to support or discount our thoughts and our feelings in order to manage a situation very differently. So we want to be able to manage a situation from a wise mind position. And in order to do that, we need to make sure we've got all the right information and then we're not basing our decisions and our behaviours on pure emotion and misunderstandings and judgments and assumptions, and as if we know what's going on when actually we might not. So we have to check these things out. So the checking the facts is doing that. It's being an investigator, it's checking things out.